Soil for countless ages have been revealed, one of the greatest scientific detective hunts of all time. Specimens from the top layer of the Earth's surface from every portion of the globe were shipped to the Brooklyn laboratories of China, century-old, in the hope of discovering a new antibiotic drug to conquer man's diseases. 100,000 samples of soil collected by airline pilots, missionaries, expeditions, and ordinary travelers to be scientifically searched for a life-saving organism. Months of tedious culture screening, and then the announcement of the discovery of terramycin. Here you see a liquid suspension of the precious soil, one of the first steps in transforming a pinch of dirt into a wonder drug. From the very beginning, modern medical discoveries are the product of the close collaboration of teams of highly specialized scientists, mycologists, biochemists, bacteriologists, chemical engineers, and many others. Pasteur, as early as 1877, noted that the chemical secreted by one kind of microbe could be used to destroy another. How he would have marveled at today's streamlined research for new antibiotics. The soil samples are placed on glass petri dishes containing food for the earth mold organisms to grow on. Each mold is transferred from the petri dish to a test tube for incubation. From the earliest stages through every progressive step of the drug's development, the team of scientists searched for new and more potent strains of the mold. Here is the mold which produces an antibiotic effective against more than 50 diseases, the mold of terramycin. Next, the mold is grown on a dish containing disease germs. If the germs are unable to live in contact with the mold, a clear ring tells the story. After incubation of larger quantities of the mold, new members of the team of research scientists take over. It must be tested again and again to make certain that even though it is deadly to disease germs, it is harmless to animals and to human beings. This must be grown in living tissue. Chick embryos infected with the influenza virus are inoculated with terramycin, and inhibition of the disease is noted. After rigid testing, fermentation takes over the job of production. The terramycin mold is grown in deep fermentation tanks with bubbling air, and the penicillin, the first discovered by Sir Alexander Fleming, was grown in milk bottle flasks. But today, terramycin is grown in giant tanks to satisfy worldwide demand. In due course, the chemical substance which kills germs, the antibiotic, is harvested from the broth. Here, a magical drug terramycin in crude form, product of tiny molds, for the first time in millions of years aided by man. A long, complex process is involved before the antibiotic is isolated, purified, and crystallized. The earliest strains of penicillin yielded less antibiotic in the liquid broth than there is gold in seawater. But through the genius of science, new strains of the earth molds have been developed with much higher yields. The problem of mass production was solved by American know-how, which has made possible production of antibiotics in quantities large enough to treat many millions of patients. Yes, this is a harvest of health. Step by step, these processes bring terramycin to its final state. Beautiful canary yellow crystals, stable and pure, suitable for human beings and ready to be prepared in various dosage forms. Special techniques had to be developed for packaging penicillin and other antibiotics which are injected. Sterile rooms have germ-killing lamps and sterile air. This is the modern round table, stainless steel and free of dangerous bacteria, an illustration of the care taken by the pharmaceutical industry. Terramycin, however, has a great advantage. It is administered chiefly by mouth in the form of capsules, elixir, liquid drops, and troches, but it can also be administered intravenously when needed. Thus, terramycin is made ready to serve the medical profession its unceasing effort to alleviate pain and control the infectious diseases of man. The list of diseases affected by terramycin in its wide range includes the venereal infections, the strep infections, the pneumonias, the dysenteries, diphtheria, yaws, trachoma, whooping cough, pink eye, undulant fever, typhus, and dozens of others. Medical clinicians in hundreds of the great hospitals of the world against the chief scourges of young and old. Here, against virus pneumonia, once a disease of several weeks' duration, are demonstrated the life-saving results of painstaking delving into the soil's secrets by men of science. 48 hours after terramycin is administered, the patient's temperature is down to normal. The U.S. death rate from pneumonia has tobogganed since the introduction of the antibiotics. Distinguished medical clinicians gathered at a symposium to report that terramycin had won its place in many lands as one of medicine's most powerful therapeutic weapons against disease. But a new and unsuspected power lay in the terramycin mold, the power to promote growth. As little as 10 grams of terramycin, 1/3 of an ounce added, will make chickens, turkeys, and hogs grow faster and come to market earlier. Note the weight of a chicken raised for 8 weeks on a regular feed. Now another chicken nourished for the same period on regular feed plus terramycin, a 15% increase in growth. On both experimental and commercial hog farms, terramycin fortified rations produced an increase of 25 pounds in hogs, readying them for market 4 weeks earlier than other hogs not fed terramycin. With less feed and less labor, meat production becomes more economical. Thus, the miracle feed supplement terramycin helps to solve some of the nutritional problems of a hungry world. And the miracle drug terramycin helps to cure the sick and suffering all around the world. So, back to the countries which yielded the good earth for the scientists' laboratories goes terramycin, potent new discovery in an age of medical miracles. What new discoveries still lie locked in the soil? What possible cures for diseases as yet untouched? From the tedious developmental years of penicillin has emerged a specialized industry accomplishing feats impossible a decade ago. Pressing steadily forward, scientists and physicians of vision and experience may soon make the next great contribution to the age of antibiotics.